Hi, I'm Amanda. I am the host of Clothes Horse Podcast. If this is your first time meeting me, I have worked as a buyer in the fast fashion industry for close to 2 decades right now. And lately, we have been having a lot of conversations, which we have to be having, about how new clothes, they're kind of garbage, right? So this inspired me to create a new series of videos that I'm going to be putting out over the next few days, not every day, because I'm sure you're getting tired of hearing my voice. And in these videos, we're going to be talking about some of the other sort of secret reasons clothes are kind of garbage now. And these might be things you're sort of aware of, and some of them might be new to you, but I want to assure you that all of these pieces of the puzzle are contributing to the reason that clothes are kind of garbage now. This fact is one of them. So the fashion industry makes somewhere between 100 billion and 150 billion new garments every year. And I would say in a year like 2023, we're looking at more like 150 billion because people are buying a lot of clothes. That alone is a pretty staggering number, but it gets more complicated and more, infuriating. And that is, according to the Australian Circular Textile Association, 30% of that 150 billion garments made every year are never sold. Don't worry. I have my calculator right here. You don't have to have a big pink calculator. I do recommend it. 30% of 150 billion is 45 billion garments. For some context, there are just shy of 8 billion people on Earth right now. So right there's more than 5 garments per person on this planet that no one will ever buy and probably never wear. And this is one more factor in why clothing is kind of garbage right now. Okay, so let's walk through why and how 45 billion garments are made and never sold. One of the causes of all of this wasted clothing is buying into the wrong trends and the wrong product. So the very existence of the fast fashion business model relies on selling you as much stuff as possible, as often as possible. Like motivating you to go shopping every week, every other day, as much as your wallet will allow. In order to do that, they have to come up with a lot of new things to sell you. And I will tell you, in the space of my career, because I began before the rise of fast fashion and watched it all play out, over the years, I found myself having to buy and develop 4 times the number of styles that I was at the beginning of my career. And in order to satisfy that constant need of newness, that need to get customers to come shopping all the time, you have to buy into every single trend that exists, no matter how fleeting it is, no matter how niche it is, no matter how just like not great or not having enough appeal it is. And what you're left with is a lot of styles that no one wants to buy, that end up getting marked down or just straight up like damaged out. Next, all of this product is coming so fast. Why? Because every brand wants to be the first to sell you any trend that arises, right? So that means from the product development standpoint, meaning like the buyers, the designers, the production people, is they have half as much time or even less time than that to get a style right. Sometimes I would start working on a style at the beginning of the month that would deliver all the way from China by the end of the month. So what does that mean? Less time to do fittings, which are very, very important. One of the reasons a lot of clothes just don't fit very well these days. And also time to get the details right. Because I'm gonna tell you, sometimes the first samples that you get are a nightmare. And in this sped up cycle, sometimes you have to take that nightmare and put it out there for customers to buy. And you know what happens? They don't buy it. So here's another thing that you have to put on sale or damage out or burn before it even hits the sales floor. Stuff comes so fast, it's doomed to be a failure in the first place because no one has had the time to get it right. Okay, this one, number 3, is a big, possibly the biggest contributor to all of these unsold clothes. And that is delusional sales plans that excite shareholders, investors, and fund executive bonuses. Basically, the bigger the sales plan, the more excited everyone is to invest, and the bigger bonus your CEO gets. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little retail math lesson. It's a real quick one, but trust me, retail math is its own thing with all kinds of terminology and like philosophy behind. Here's a basic one. The higher your sales plan, the more inventory you need, right? You can't sell what you don't have. So if at the beginning of the year, your CEO and the rest of the executives work together and come up with this really high sales plan, you're gonna go out as a buyer and you're gonna buy enough inventory, enough product to achieve that sales plan. The moment you don't hit that sales plan, suddenly there's a lot of inventory that you can't sell. In some situations, you already own it and you are thinking about like, how can we get it off the books? Maybe we'll first try to mark it down, but can we donate it? Can we damage it out? Can we burn it? Can we do? If you haven't received it yet, you're gonna go out to the factory and try to cancel it, effectively sticking them with the bill, and they will try to either sell it off if they're legally allowed to, which they're probably not, and so they're probably gonna send it off to be burned or buried as well. Number 4 is, well, if you're not furious yet, maybe this is the most infuriating thing to you. I don't know, this is the one that really grinds my gears in a story that completely grinds all my gears. And that is that retailers honestly view their product as disposable. Now we know that nothing is disposable, especially a bunch of clothing that required water, dyes, other natural resources, tons of fuel and energy to create. We know that none of that is disposable, and with 65% of clothing being made right now being synthetic, that means that those clothes will live in the landfill for centuries. So nothing is disposable, but in the eyes of retailers, throwing all this stuff out, burning it, is just part of doing business. In fact, first off, 45 billion garments, I don't know who you're gonna donate those to or how you're gonna get other people to wear them, because that's just so many, and so many of those clothes have what I call fatal flaws, meaning that like no one can humanly wear them because maybe the leg hole doesn't accommodate a foot coming through it, or no one can fit their arm into the sleeve. But even the clothes that are wearable, that could be desirable to someone, retailers often would prefer to throw these out, cut them up, burn them, than get them into the hands of people who need them because they see it as brand damaging. So these clothes just go to waste after all the resources, all the hard work that brought them into creation and brought them to the stores or your mailbox or what have you. So I told you at the beginning of the video that all of this overproduction was impacting the quality of the clothing that we buy right now. And of course, I've just given you a bunch of other reasons why the quality isn't that great, but here's the big takeaway from this video. Retailers are making 45 billion garments that no one is wearing, right? That never sell. That costs a lot of money. How do they cover the cost of all of those unsold clothes? Well, they mark up the clothing that does sell even higher. So every time you buy something new, you're paying a little bit of money to cover all of those unsold clothes. You're actually subsidizing all of this unsold stuff. And what that means when you're buying something brand new is that they had to cut the cost of making that garment just a little bit more to cover the expense of all the stuff that no one ever bought. And remember, it's not just the making of the stuff that they have to cover the cost of, it's also all the freight overseas, the boxes, the poly bags, the price tags, the people who worked on making that stuff. And so, of course, we get lower quality products that come out of that, and we see wages being suppressed across the industry for everyone involved in making, shipping, and selling those clothes as well. Overproduction actually impacts many, many people around the world, including you, even if you've never worked in fashion or retail or worked at UPS or anything else, because you're getting clothing that will not last as long, and you're probably spending more money more often to stay clothed, right? Thanks for watching part 1 in this series. If you have more questions, Ask me in the comments.